Hey there, this video is all about potting up tomatoes and peppers. So everyone does this at different times. I did this for our main tomatoes, I don't know, probably about a month ago, maybe a little bit longer, I don't remember. But depending on your climate and where you are, you may do this different times of the year, or if you're doing successions, or I don't know. Just want to show you what I do, and hopefully this will help you guys out. So things that you need for this, you will need some plants to pot up. These guys were planted probably, yeah, pretty much a month ago. We got some determinate tomatoes for our, this is all for our sort of personal garden here. We got some tomatoes, we got some bell peppers, and we got some hot peppers. So that's what we got going on here. We will also need some small pots to pot them up into. And what I like to use is this, I think it's called a daisy tray, in combination with a shallow 10-20 flat with out holes, and some good potting soil. And then obviously you need to be able to water it. So that's what we need, so let's get started. Alright, so I'll take you over my shoulder here. Hopefully this is a good enough view. So I got my potting soil up here, and I take my little pot and just fill it up. So I just lightly packed it. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a hole in here, and it's kind of a combination of things here. I'm putting a hole in the middle, but I'm also compacting it a little bit just to make sure it's all tight in there. And you want to make sure the hole is big enough to accept your little transplant. And the nice thing about this here is that you can select for the healthiest ones that you have, and then you can figure out how many you need, because at this point these will pretty much make it. So these guys were in here a little too long. You can see how dangly the roots are, but we're going to make sure the hole's big enough in here. I'm going to put them in here, and then we just put a little bit more dirt around, pack it down, just being gentle, but pressing pretty firm. You want to just solidify that, and then I just sort of lay a little bit more on top, and there you go. That's a potted up tomato. And then, as I showed you before with these pieces, we're going to fill in this daisy tray with the 10-20 flat without holes, and then we'll be able to move this you know, in the nursery and let those guys grow up. So just going to keep on with this. It's a little bit tedious. It's a good thing to sort of have music on or be listening to a podcast or something, but once you get in the groove, it goes pretty quickly. So as I continue to do this, I just want to show you, I'm just using a little bolt here to push out the plugs. And you just gotta be really gentle, because often the leaves and stuff can be intertwined with the next one, and if you pull, you'll break them. So you want to be really gentle pulling out the plug so that the roots stay intact. Just take your time. And one thing I want to mention about the potting soil is that, you know, I use the SunGrow Professional Growing Mix for all of my starts and for microgreens, and you know, there's not really a ton of organics and nutrients in there, so it's okay for the first few weeks, but after that, especially at this point, these little guys need a lot of nutrients, so make sure you get something with a little more juice in it. I bought some Happy Frog, that's what I'm using this time. They had it at my local store. It seemed to be working pretty well for the other tomatoes, so that's what we're going to use here. So I'll finish up the tomatoes and get on to the peppers. So the peppers are a lot more delicate, and if you've ever grown peppers of any sort really, they take a lot longer to germinate than some of the other plants, especially tomatoes. So I feel like they're just a little bit further behind than the tomatoes because they took so long to germinate, but just, you know, be really careful. These are very delicate at this stage, but I just want to get them potted up so that we can move them along. So I'm just trying to plant them deep and supporting the stem as much as possible and burying it quite a bit. Still below the first true leaves, so this will be all right. But just to show you the difference between the tomatoes and the peppers, and these were all planted at the same time. So as I continue to work here, and now I'm potting up some sweet bell peppers, and as I said before, these are all for our personal garden this year. We did grow some bell peppers last year commercially for the farm, but I realized they take a really long time before they are mature, and they're not a big money maker for us just because it takes up so much time in a bed where we could have probably turn through multiple beds of salad greens or lettuce or something like that. So we didn't plant any this year commercially, but you know, if you're just a homesteader or a gardener, peppers are just delicious and they're pretty easy to grow. They just do take a long time, so you have to plan ahead. And don't be afraid to start things from seeds. I know a lot of people just go to the store and buy transplants, but you know, it was just a little bit of time and planning. You can get a lot of plants for just a package of seeds and a little bit of soil. So it can be definitely worth it, and you can pick out exactly the varieties that you want and all that kind of stuff. So we set aside a couple of our beds this year for our personal garden, and you know, we're gonna put some nice things in there just for us to enjoy this summer. So this is definitely one of them. And just finish potting these guys up, and then we'll be done. Not a big project for me today with everything else that's going on the farm. Just a little bit of plants for us. All right, got all those guys done. Just gonna water them in. I took out the bottom trays just so I could water them pretty heavy, and then put them on the bottom trays and bring them inside. So I like to do several waterings. Give it a drench, let it sit for a minute or two, give it another drench. That way the water really gets into the potting soil. All right, got the rest of those done. Not a big day of potting up. You can see them here. I know they look kind of beat up right now. We'll put them back under the lights and they'll be fine. I'll keep them inside as long as they still fit under the lights. You can keep them inside for as long as you want, as long as they're growing properly under artificial light. And make sure you do harden them off for a week or so before you get them in the ground. Otherwise they won't do very well. So I just want to show you what I do here. It's not a very complicated process. Nice short video for you today. I hope to give you guys some ideas, or give you guys some confidence to do this stuff yourself if you're not already. So don't be afraid of starting from seed and potting up and doing some bigger plants. It's really not that tough to do. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.